Shri Gurubhyo Namah. A very warm welcome to the special weekend session of 5th edition of Global Festival of Oneness. This is Nitin Sridhar, Chief Curator of the festival. And let us begin with a prayer. Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Beda Vibhagine Vyomavatyapta Dehaya Shri Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankara-charya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Again, a very warm welcome to everyone. Today we have with us Vidwan K. Giridhara Sharma ji joining us from Chennai. Thank you very much, sir, for making time from your busy schedule. And he'll be speaking on a very important topic, place of Achara in Advaita Sadhana. I personally believe that this is a very important topic because nowadays there is a lot of misconceptions about what Advaita practice constitutes. Many are under the impression that simply reading books, simply reading some Upanishadic translations or some Prakarana Granthas or attending some lectures such as this is enough. That itself is Advaita. That itself is Advaita Sadhana. But that is not so. That is an important part, but there are many other important aspects of it. So, Vidwan Giridhara Sharma ji will be highlighting on this, will be speaking in detail about what is the place of Achara in Advaita Sadhana. Before I open the floor, so to speak, to him, let me introduce the speaker. Born in a pious Tamil family, Giridhara Sharma ji is an electronic engineer by education and profession with over 30 years of experience in that field. In parallel, he has been blessed by great scholars such as Brahmashri Goda Venkateshwara Shastrigal, who took Giridhara Sharma ji under his tutelage. He has learnt basics of Tarka and Mimamsa and specialized in Mimamsa and Vedanta, including Prasthana-traya, Bhashyam and other important texts in both the Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa Shastras. From 2018, Giridhara Sharma ji has been continuing his study of advanced Mimamsa under Dr. K.E. Devanatha Acharya, as well as continuing his study of Vedanta under Mahamahopadhyaya, Brahmashri, Dr. Manit Dravid Shastrigal. He is also continuing his study of Vyakaranam under Brahmashri Dattatreya Murthy ji. Giridhara Sharma ji regularly participates in Vidvat Sadas and workshops. He conducts private classes for students in Mimamsa, Vedanta, Tarka and other Shastriya subjects, to both in person in his home as well as online. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you for making time for this session. Please go ahead and start your talk.
Dhanyawad. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shrutasmriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavadpadam Shankaram Lokashankara. Dhanyawad Nitinji. Thanks for having me here. We are going to be talking about place of Achara in Advaita Sadhana. As he mentioned, this is a very interesting topic. Whether it is important or not is very subjective, personal. I would say this is very interesting topic. I will try my best to put things together in a structured way. So when we say Advaita Sadhana, first let's explain the title, Place of Achara in Advaita Sadhana. When we say Advaita Sadhana, it's a practice towards certain goal. The goal is Advaita Siddhi, Advaita Atma Nishchayaha, Advaita Anubhuti, Atma Anubhuti, Mukti, whatever you call it. So that is the end goal. And for which the sadhana is one step. The sadhana is the step towards reaching that goal. When you talk about Advaita Sadhana, what are they? What is exactly Advaita Sadhana? We have to look into Upanishad further. Atma vare drashtavya. That is, Atma has to be realized, has to be seen, has to be experienced. Kadam shrotavyo mantavyo nididhyasitavya. That is by Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyas. So these are the three steps. There are debates like, is Shravanam the main sadhana and Mananam and Nididhyasanam or ancillary for that? Or is Nididhyasanam main and Shravanam and Mananam are ancillary for that? So there are internal debates like that. That should not bother us now. But even if there are different schools of thoughts, everybody agrees that you have to go through Shravanam, you have to do a lot of Mananam, and you have to fix yourself with the Nididhyas. So there is no getting away from this three. So what is Shravanam? It is not just listening. The word means listening, but it is not just listening. Tatparya avadharana anukula manasi kriya. So all these things has to be done, both the Shravanam and Mananam has to be done with Guru Sannidhi, Guru Kripa only. You can't just take books and read. You can, I mean, nobody is forbidding that. But when you are talking about Siddhi, it has to come through Guru. That is our tradition. So when Guru does the Upadesha, Vedanta Upadesha, it's not like a mantra Upadesha. It is more like a dialogue. It's a vada. Tattva Bhubutsu Kada. Guru explains something. The disciple asks some questions. And Guru asks back some more questions. And that's how it's more of a dialogue. And that is the Vedanta Shravana. How when a vacuum like Tattvamasi or Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, when the total import of the sentence is explained, as you listen to it, you have to listen it with the analysis, with the analytical way that this vacuum, this Vedanta vacuum, this sentence has the Tatparyam, that is the net result of the sentence is Advaita Atma Anubhava. So Veda Advitiye Brahmane Tatparya Avadharana Anukula Manasi Kriya, that is Shravana. So it is not just listening like you listen to Upanyasam, you go to Ramayana or Bhagavata Upanyasam, they tell the story, you listen, you enjoy, you come back. Of course, that is fulfilling by its own. But Vedanta Shravanam is not like a Katha Shravanam. This is different. As you listen, you have to do the analysis, look at what happened before and what is coming next, and what are your preconceived notions. You shake them, you question them, and that is how the Vedanta Shravanam is. And once you have that, then you sit and analyze by yourself, Yuktigar Anuchintanam Mananam. That's the next step. And when you have doubts, again you go back to Guru. This you can see in the Taittiriya Upanishad, Bhurgan Varani, Varanam Pitaram Upasasara, where he asks what is Brahma, Adihi Bhagavo Brahma. Then he said, Yatova Imani Bhutani Jayante. So he gave that explanation. Then Tapasa Brahma Vijignyasasva. In the first instance, Bhrigu learned as Annam Brahmeti Pujana. He again went and asked him. So there is the process of Shravanam and Mananam which you see. And finally, once he understands Anando Brahmeti Pujana, he does not go back to his Guru again. So this is the process. And Nididhyasanam is where once you fix the idea, the theoretical idea of Advaita Atma, Brahmatmaikyam, as Bhashya says. Brahma as the Jagat Karanam, Jiva as someone who is in the samsara. And what is the relation between this? What is the relation between Jiva and Prapancha? What is the relation between Ishvara and Jiva? So all this, you have a very good theoretical understanding. And now you want to fix your mind on this Advitiyam Param Brahma. And that is Vidivyas. And that leads to the Siddhi. So we started from Siddhi, and you have these three sadhanas, Shravana, Manana, Vidivyasa. All three go hand in hand. Individual experiences may vary. So when you look into that, these are mostly the mental plane. You have to have a very sharp intellect and mind and a calming mind to get into this practice. Otherwise, there is no question of analysis. When you are agitated, there is no analysis that we can see even in day-to-day, right? Okay. So let it be like this. Now I talked about the Pradhana Sadhana. These are called as Antaranga Sadhana. Now, to do this, what is needed? Only for us to enable or for us to do this, the Brahma Sutra has come. What is the purpose of Brahma Sutra according to Bhashya? First, he explains what is this Adhyasa. He says, Asya anartha hetu prahanaya. This anartha hetu, to destroy that, Atmaikattva vidya pratipattiye, this Atmanaha ekatva, Advaita Atma. Atmaikattva vidya pratipattiye, sarve Vedantaha aratyante. All these Upanishads come only to explain this. That is the Pratigya Acharya does. Yatacharyamatva sarvesham Vedantana. How does this Upanishad convey this Atma Tattva? Vayam asyam sharirika mimamsayam pradashishya. That we will explain in this Sharirika Mimamsa Shastra, which is Vyachikyasitasya Vedanta Mimamsa Shastrasya idam Adivam Sutram Athado Brahma Jigyasa. This Vedanta Mimamsa Shastra. So what is this Vedanta Mimamsa Shastra? You take this Vedanta Vakyam and you have to see where the purpose is and what is the import of those sentences, and they point to Advaita Atma. So if there is a conflict, how do you resolve this conflict? There is a conflict between sentences, there is conflict between our experience, there is conflict between this Vedanta Vakyam and other systems of philosophy. So you resolve all that, and that is the Vichara. So further, why I bring that here is, that is where you do this manana. In fact, without the aid of Brahma Sutra, it is very difficult even to understand the Upanishad, the true meaning of the Upanishad. So for that, what is the qualification? What is the prerequisite Sutrakara says? The first Sutra is Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Brahmana Jigyasa, Brahma Jigyasa, Brahma Vino. Jignasa Jnatunicha, that is Vichara, Brahma Vichara. Ataha, therefore, we leave that part now. Atha, thereafter, because we have so and so reason, Brahma Jignasa. Vedanta Vichara Kartavya. You have to do this Vedanta Vichara. So this thereafter, this Atha, afterwards. After what? So Bhashya asks this question, and he says, Atha is Swadhyaya Anantaryantu Samanam. Your first thing is you have to learn the text, right? So that Adhyanam is important. So that is Samara. As we do for the Purvamimamsa, here also you have to learn the text. Without knowing the text, what kind of analysis can you do? So this Swadhyaya Anantaryantu Samanam, that is there. Then what else is needed? There Acharya highlights these things. Sadhana Chaturshtiya Sampatti. Right? So what are they? They are Nityanitya Vastu Vivekaha, Vairagya, then Samadhi Shatka Sampatti, Mumukshu. So these are the necessary requisites to start the Vedanta Vichara. Only when you do the Vedanta Vichara, you can do Shravanam properly, We can actually do manana, that which leads to nididhyasana, that leads to siddhi. So this sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, that is the basis. Okay. So this much for the Advaita sadhana aspect. I'll take a short break here in this topic. Now let us go to the other part of the title, just the Acharya. Honestly, I do not know how to translate the word Acharya, so I'll continue to use because I believe most of us will understand and many of us will also likely to misunderstand. That can be clarified over a period of time. Maybe we can say. Okay, so there are many, like Nitinji was saying earlier, there are many things which we, the moment we mention Acharya, there are several things that come into mind. The common thing could be, we can say it is a way of life, or it can be a value system. We can say Acharya is a value system. And in fact, if when I say somebody, so that he's come, his family, or he's come from a very Acharya family, the another way of putting that is orthodox. I do not know exactly the word orthodox, whether it has a positive connotation or negative connotation, but that is one way we use for, one word we use for this Acharya. Somebody is orthodox. Then if you look into all this, what does it mean is there is set of codes, methods or codes on do's and don'ts. I would not reduce Acharya to a bunch of do's and don'ts because that is too restrictive in meaning. So that's why I try to look into as more of a way of life or a disciplined way of life, you can say. Now, when you talk about Acharya, where is it codified? Is there any, what other texts we know? Most of the Smriti Granthas, starting from Manusmriti, we have many of these texts. We have Sutra, we have Kalpa Sutras, we have Smriti Nibandha Granthas. All those things, they talk about various things. And also books like Mahabharata, they talk about several aspects of the Acharya. But when you say Acharya, it is not a set of commandments. It's not just a simple set of commandments, because even there is a unifying principle. When you look into all the Acharyas, there is a unifying principle of not harming anyone. Satya Vachana. And those kind of value system, what we call as ethics and morals, that is a common underlying thread in several of these texts. But there is a lot of diversity also. That is why we have Deshacharya. The Acharya that we follow in northern Tamil Nadu is not same as in southern. Similarly, what you have in Kerala is different than what you have in Karnataka. In Karnataka also, North Karnataka and Dakshin Karnataka, there is, and coastal Karnataka, you have minor differences. Andhra Pradesh has their own differences. And you go further north, you see a lot of differences. And Eastern India, you have different acharyas. But there is a common underlying morals and ethics which does not change. That's a unifying principle, but there is also a lot of diversity. So I talked about Deshacharya. Geographically, there is diversity. Then we have Varna-based Acharya differences. It is for the four Varnas, different Acharya. Similarly, you have differences for the ashrama. Brahmachari has certain do's and don'ts. The Grahastha has a different set of rules to follow. So, a lot of these can be, all these things are born out of different acharyas. And you also have kulacharya. That is, when you do certain rituals and all, people say this is our family tradition. How does it come? Actually, if you see, people give more importance to family tradition than what is there in the textbook. Is it right or wrong is a different point, because this is something that has handed over to them by the people they trust more. Books can be anything. If my guru says something, I do that. If my father says something, I do that. I do that much more. A lot of value. So you have Kulachara. So there is so much diversity and there are also certain unified principles there. So this is about the Acharya. So Acharya is a more broad-based, I would say, codification with a lot of diversity built in and contextual also. But irrespective of the differences, Acharya has always played a very important role in our dharma. Acharihina na punanti veda yadyatadita sahashabdiranga. One may be very well learned, but if he does not have Acharya, nobody respects. That used to be the case till very recently back. Achara Prabhu Dharma, Dharma Se Prabhu Rachana. Even we worship God as someone who has given us this Acharya. So the net result is, this is very, very important for Dharma Anushtana. For rituals, practices, with Dharma Anushtana, Acharya is extremely important. Everybody agrees. So when you say Dharma, what is Dharma? Chodana Lakshana Dharma. What is Vedena? Priyojana Buddhisya Vedena Vidiyamano Yovartha Saha Dharma. So what is enjoined, what is instructed in scriptures for Purushartha, that is Dharma. Okay. For that, Acharya is very essential. That is, when you talk about rituals, ritualistic practice, samskaras, anything. If you have to do something, a basic Acharya is needed. That is given. Now, this is where the question comes. In Ishavasya Bhashya, Acharya says, there is a debate. There is a question between, if the one mantra talks about Jnana Nishta and the next mantra talks about Karma Nishta. So there is a question. How did you bring the distinguish? How do you distinguish that this is for Jnana Nishta and this is for Karma Nishta? Because Upanishad doesn't say Atha Jnana Nishta, Atha Karma Nishta. It doesn't say anything. Ishavasya Nidam Sakam is one mantra for Jnana Nishta. Purvanneveha Karmani is for Karma Nishta. So how do you bring this difference is the question. The answer is, Acharya explains what is the Jnana Nishta and what is Karma Nishta. And in the further debate he asks, Jnana Karmanor Virodha, Parvatavat Akampim Yatoktam Nasvarasikim. Says the difference between Jnana and Karma is like it's a mountain-like difference. Don't even remember what I told you. So it was a rhetorical question. So what it means is, when the Jnana sadhana, the Jnana is extremely, it's diagonally opposite from the Karma. So for Karma Anushtana, you need Acharya is fine. And the moment you come to Jnana, acquiring the knowledge, does the Acharya have a place there? Because that is the modern school of thought is, you are supposed to distort your own body as myself. So now why do you even bring the do's and don'ts of the body into this scheme of things? Right? So that is the fundamental problem. Why do we need Acharya when you are in the pursuit of Advaita Academy? There is no place for this because there is no karma. There is nothing to do. If you are going to do something, then you may need this Acharya. You are not going to need. Even then I'm saying you may need. But here there is nothing to do. It's all, like I explained before, everything is in the mental plane. So where is the place of Acharya here? That is the question you have to answer. Right. So let's keep it that. Now let's come back to the Sadhana Chaturshti Sampatti. First is Viveka, which is discrimination, Vairagya, no. Then we have this Samadhi, Shamadama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhana. Then you have Mukshitva, that is the ultimate desire to achieve moksha. Of the four, I'll keep the third ones aside. When you talk about this Viveka, Vairagya, and Mukshitva, how do we acquire them? They are mostly mental concepts. It's not like something you have to do. Those are mental concepts. So how do we cultivate them? By learning scriptures, by satsanga, by inquiry, by contemplation, by talking to people, by listening to these kind of things. So more of it's a mental concept or mental construct. That is how you gradually understand the Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. And slowly you lose interest in things which are really not worthy of pursuing. And slowly we prepare ourselves to pursue the ultimate path. So these are mental concepts. There is again nothing much to do. Right? There is no ritualistic practice. There is no karma which says, if you do this, you will get viveka. If you do this, you will get vairagya. So if I do Ganapati Homam, I get something. If I do Sri Sukta Homam, I get something. So and so likewise, if I do this, I will get vairagyam. There is no such thing. Right? So these are more like you have to involve yourself into this. I'm just diluting it. Actually, we'll come to that later. Even these are attained by Nishkamya Karma Anushanam is there. But right now, but directly these are not to be related to, like you have a Darshapurnamasa Vishti that takes you to something like that. You do this and you get this. There is no one-to-one correlation between any of the action and these three. So now I'm left with this Shamadama. So what is this Shamadama? This is a control of mind and senses. And this is not same as Chitta Vritti Nirodha that is told in Yoga Shastra. We are not talking about cessation, total annihilation or total stoppage of mind here or the senses here. You are talking about more about organized way of thinking, and you have channelized your mental energy and sensory perceptions. You don't dissipate your energy all over the place and focus. So Shama and Dama are more like focus on this. And when you talk about the next is Uparati, I'm not going into any of the Prakarana Granthas, any of the texts which gives meaning for all this, because that is going to be a workshop by itself. But the past 1 month, you would have listened to most of these things again and again. I presume most of you understand. So I am talking about next is Uparati. Uparati is again, I would say, an extension of Shama and Dama. This is more like there you are channelizing, here you are more retiring from this mental processes and the sensory perception. So this is more like a discipline organized from the consistency of values. This is where it plays an important role. I think you know where I'm coming from. The next one is Titiksha. Titiksha is kind of accepting reality, stop complaining, stop cribbing about, okay, don't put long face. This is what reality is. This is what we have to do. My ultimate goal is this. None of these things should really matter to me. So that kind of equipoise is Titiksha. And Shraddha. Shraddha is extremely important here, which gives you the conviction to do what you think is the right, irrespective of what others perceive you as. So if you have that Shraddha, you will progress further in the path. Otherwise, you're going to get distracted, you're going to get dejected, or we'll have a lot of hurdles in the path. Right? So, Samadhana, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha. Samadhanam is more of a happening rather than a sadhana. So, I'll keep the rest. When you talk about this Samadhi, Samadhana, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha and all. Where do these qualities come from? Where do we acquire these? Who is going to train me for it? Right? So that's the question. So you keep that question. Now, coming back to Acharya, you have certain codes, right? You have to get up in the morning. So what does it mean? You don't have a choice on when to get up. The choice is taken up. You have to get up at this. Okay, as soon as I get up, what do? Do we go to gym? Do we go read newspaper? Do I go meet my friend, have a chat, and then come back? No, you don't have a choice. You have to do the next activity. Then you have to do the next activity. So that is how the day is coded. It doesn't mean you're not allowed to go to gym or you're not allowed to speak to a friend. It's not like that. It's a time for that, right? So this is given. Interestingly, in Bhagavadpadacharya has mentioned, when you talk about karma, pratyusham arabhya pradosha parisamadaniya. So from early in the morning, before sunrise, till late in the night, every day you have a set of things to do. For how many days? Rishayikadis Mashanantam. That is, since the day you are conceived, till the day the person is taken to Smashana, the whole life is mapped out. Still, you get to do everything you want. It's not like you are not allowed to do anything. But there is a regimen, there is a discipline, right? So what does this do? It takes away many of your choice. It takes away our freedom. So is it a good thing? So when you look at freedom, there is a very thin line between freedom and chaos. So when the choice is taken away, the risk of falling into chaotic situation is limitless. So it may look like you are restricted, you are bound, you are controlled, but actually some of these restrictions are really good because you don't waste your mental energy on most of the mundane things. What dress should I wear? Look at how many elements of thinking every day everybody's. That's very subjective. I'm saying how people think about. You go to a dress, you go to a shop, you want to select a dress. The more the choice you have, the more confusion you have, and you have a lot of burden. And you take a fantastic dress, you come out, you still have something hankering. Probably I should have chosen. 30, 40 years back, you go and get an ambassador car, you are super happy, right? Now you go and get a BMW. The next week a new car comes in, you are immediately, your new car, which is just 1 week old, loses its value to you. So the more choice we have, there is more chaos. That's fine. In materialistic world, that is fine. That's the growth. But when you have a limited mental energy, which has to be used for this discrimination between nitya and anitya, and which has to refine your mind for this vairagya, you don't have much of balance to dissipate in all this. So you can't have a chaotic life and lead an analytical life. Okay, I'll give you an example. I'll give several examples. Now I don't know. Those days, now things are kind of getting a little bit liberal. But even then, when you take student hostels used to have very fixed menu. You don't have too many choices. And the hostels I know had very strict regimen. You have to get up at this time, and this is the start time for the breakfast, this is the end time for the breakfast, and these are the class timings. Then you come back, evening snacks, there is time for sports, and then evening studies, and dinner, and these are light off time. Beyond that, lights are not allowed to be on in the. It used to be like that. It is still like that in many of this military, right? You have that discipline. That's why when they say discipline, it's a military discipline. Why? You don't need freedom there? Are they not human beings? Are they subhuman? Why don't we give them a choice? That leads to chaos. So that's why you have those organizations. Talk about pilots. You can be all of us drive, and we know how chaotic driving in India is. But take about pilots. The same pilot, when he takes the car from airport to home, the way he drives, it's the same way he captains the plane. I don't think any of them will be flying. They have a certain regimen. And interestingly, you can watch many of those in YouTube also. Before takeoff, that is, the moment they take control of the plane, there are several checklists. You can see that one pilot is talking about Action 1, 2, 3. The other one is check. Yeah, this is done. This is okay. This is okay. This is not okay. So like that they reload. So there is, all I'm saying is there is a regimen. The pilot may have 30 years of experience. He may have muscle memory on how to fly the plane, like we have muscle memory on how to drive scooter on a chaotic road. He may have muscle memory, but the system does not trust that. They have a regimen. Why? So many lives are at stake. And we accept that. So likewise, there will be doctors here. When you get into surgery, what is the kind of regimen you follow? Why? Again, life is at stake. So here, your life is at stake. Nachedihavedi mahati vinashti. If you don't aspire, if you don't attempt to get this Atmajnana in this life, that's mahati vinashti. Who knows when is your next human birth going to be? So that regimen is extremely important. I am working in a factory. So we have a factory where manufacturing is done. And to support that, we have a creative department, there's a design department where products are designed. When it comes to design, there's a lot of freedom given because it's more creative, you can't be restricted. And that shows in every aspect. But when you go into the factory environment, right from the timing and how things, where things are placed, how the tool has to be moved from one. When the tool is used, where you keep it, when you don't use, where you keep it. When a part that is manufactured, if it is good, how do you inspect that? If it is good, how you place? If it is not good, there is a process for rejecting. After all, it's junk, it has to be scrapped, but there is a process for that. So there is no freedom, there is no scope for creativity. You are not allowed to be very free there. Why? That discipline is needed. That's how you get the throughput. That's how you maximize your factory. Whereas in a creative job, you don't have such restrictions. So when we come to this analysis, this Shravanam and Mananam and Vidya, so look at the difficulty in Advaita. How many of us really feel there is one Atman? Textual understanding is fine. How many of us really feel there is one Atman or Atman only? When you say Atma Ekatvam, Atma Ekayava, that is, Atma is there, Anatma is not there. So Atma Ekatvam. Then there is another meaning of Atma Ekatvam. There is only one Atma. There is no multitudes of Atma. There is no Jivatma, Paramatma, and many Jivatmas. So you have to do in 2 coordinates. And how many of us really have a feel or experience for it? We don't have. That is why we are in the sadhana. So you need a lot of mental power, analytical capability to really understand what the Upanishad says and how to apply it and do it very fast so that you don't take it, okay, let it come. It's not going to come unless you have to go for it. So that is where this mental discipline is extremely, extremely important. That's what yoga is doing. For you to get into that discipline, this mental regime, a regimental way of practices, a lot of things which are, many of the choices, if they are taken away, it's good, you're still going to survive. It's not like we're going to die. Okay? We will not wear a colorful dress, but you can still think about all the Atma Lakshanam that is given in Kathopanishad, which is important. So that's a choice we make. That's the kind of choice we are supposed to make. So it is not something I am constructing. When you look into Sutra Bhashya, Sarva Vekshacha Igya Vishudhe Rashvavatam, from starting from there, in the Tritiya Adhyaya, Chaturtha Bhagam, Sarvanna Anamitischa Pranatye Darshanatam, Sahakaritvenacha, Vihidatvacha Ashrama Karmapi. Acharya has explained why Karma Anushtana is extremely important to get into this way. Tametam Vedanocharena Brahmana Vividishanti. For that Vividisha, this Karma Anushtana is important. For Karma Anushtana, we have this Acharya is extremely important. Not only that, even for Shravanam, Mananam, Vididhyasa, we need to have a very structured disciplined way of life, where a lot of choices are taken away. Okay? I'm going with the conception. I won't say misconception or right or wrong. I'm not here to judge that. Acharya is too restrictive. Somebody feels like that, so be it. Okay? It's not restricting you in the path. It is restricting us from getting distraction. So if we set the goal, this is the goal, then Acharya is extremely important. Now I want to have fun all around and I want to keep wandering around, then that is a different issue. And I doubt if any of the philosophy system talks about, that is, I'm talking about Astika Darshanam, where you are allowed to go and have all around fun, irrespective of the Acharya, and still you are able to reach divine. I don't know. But if you have a goal, this lofty goal of Advaita Siddhi, then certain restrictions, a certain discipline way of life is important from this. And you also, there are Adhikaranam, there is a Shruti Vakyam which talks about Acharya, if there is a Naishtika Brahmacharya, or if there is a sannyasa. And for some reason, they falter from that path. So how do we treat them? And so the Acharyas talked about those in Sutra Bhashya. So there it is saying, Sishtachara, there is giving one hetu. Sishtachara is taken as pramanam even for Atmasad. Okay. Now, here comes another important portion. Arurukshur Muner Yogam Karma Karanam Uchati. So, Arunum Uchati. One who has to raise to this, one who wants to attain this, for him, Karma Karanam Uchati. This Karma Yoga is a stepping stone for it. Yoga Rudasya Tasyeva. When you are in the path of yoga, then Shamak Karanam Uchati. So it is for us to judge. Where am I? Am I a yogi? Am I at the stage of a karma yogi who is ready for jnana? Or I am going to be in the path, or I am going to achieve that. So yoga rudasya tasya shamak karanam uchyate. So this is the difference that is brought up. So now I said Acharya is extremely important to get into the path of Sadhana Chatushti, to acquire the Sadhana Chatushti Sampatti, primarily this Samadhi Shatka Sampatti, because the I would say the Samadhi Shatkam is only manifestation, or is only the refinement of Acharya. Viveka Vairagyam is more mental concept, I am not changing it. But you need all the four to Shravanam, Maranam and Nididhyasana, that is where it is. But once you are there, then what happens? When you are getting into a stage where your work is mostly internal and you don't even care about your body. And there what is Acharya restricted? Where you don't feel that you have to be living the same way as you did, where you are worried about what others think, where you are worried about mundane things in life. You are in a slightly, let's assume you are in an exalted way. And there what is it? So Acharya gives a relief there also. So once you are at the beginner stage, there are certain restrictions. And when you go to the higher level, there are different restrictions. You may look like you have gained a lot of freedom. So likewise, we see in work. When someone joins the company, there are a lot of disciplines put. And when you go to the CXO level, there are a lot of freedom given from this perspective. But the pressure and the discipline they need to have is very different. So it's not like they are given total freedom, they can go and freak out. It's not like that. They have different set of responsibilities and guidelines on what to do and what not to do. So likewise, when you go, yoga rudasya tasya shamak karanam uchyate. So what is this shamak? Acharya has written one wonderful work, Sadachara Musandanam. That was the inspiration for this line of thought for me. Satchidanandakanthaya Jagadankarahete Sadoditaya Purnaya Namonantaya Vishnuve. After saluting God, he is saying this, Sarva Vedanta Siddhantaihi Gratitam. He has collated this from Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta, Nirmalam Shivam, Sadacharam Pravakshyami. Yoginam Jnana Siddhaya. This is for Yoginam Jnana Siddhaya. The earlier one is for Vividisha Siddhaya. Vividisha is Veditum Icha. I want to learn this. That is the initial, the thirst or the thrust to get into the path. Here it is different. You are there. You are just about to realize. And you want that the final block has to be removed. No audio. Okay? Yoginam Jnana Siddhaya. Pratasmarami devasya savitur bharga atmanah. Varenyam taddiyo yonas chidanande prachodayat. Most of us will recognize these words. So the Pratasmarana, it is not just the Gayatri in the Sandhya. The moment you wake up with the realization of, or you wake up with the thoughts or your mental modes are totally aligned with that Brahman. Varenyam, Varaniyam, the most superior thing. Atyanta malino deha. Dehi cha atyanta nirmala. This is more Vivekam. Once we have this Vivekam and Vairagam, we know this. Atyanta malino deha. The body is malina. Okay? Dehi cha atyanta nirmala is pure. That is, Dehi is Atma is pure. Asangoham iti jnatva. Me, that Atma, I don't get sullied, I don't get impurities of this body. Shaucham etat pravakshate. The very thought that I am not this body, that is the Shaucham. Not the other Shaucham where you have to go and do this, and then chant this mantra. That is at one stage. When you come here, the Shaucham that is needed is only this thought. So here, all the Achara related activities are translated again into a mental concept. That is the beauty of this Prakarana Sadachara Vasindhi. Manmano Neenavannityam Kridat Anandavaritam. My mind is playing in this Anandavariti, this Brahma. Susnatastena Bhutatma Samyak Vijnana Varina. Vijnana Vari is he is taken, who contemplates like this, takes bath in this water of the knowledge. Susnatastena Bhutatma, he is a Bhutatma. So here you don't even consider your body as yourself. So when you are in that state, then you don't have to force yourself. Nobody can force you to go and take bath at so and so time. Do like this, do Agamarshanam and all that. Atha Agamarshanam Kuryat Prana Prana Nirodhataha. What is the Agamarshanam here? Which we do every day the other way. Here Agamarshanam is Prana Prana Nirodhataha. To do this Prana Napada, do this Pranayama, Manapurne Samadhaya, Purne Brahmani Manas Samadhaya. You contemplate on that Brahman. Magnagumbho Itarnave. When the pot is immersed in the water, how silent it is. Likewise, if we immerse ourselves in this breath, that is Agamarshan. Like a Vikshepayo Sandho Manastatra Niranisham. Laye Sambodhe Chittam Uchite Svayat Punah. Sakashayam Janiyat Samaprato Nachamiyat. Bhagavadpadacharya is there. So then, as you do this sadhana, as you try to do this nididhyasanam, laye, the mind goes into sleep. Laye sati sambodhe. Don't go to sleep, wake up. As it wakes up, again mind runs all over. Control it again. Put it. So the mind has to be kept between this layam and vikshepa. That junction you have to keep it. So layas vikshepayo sandhau manastatra niramisham. Without any kalmisham, any impurity, you place the mind. Sasam visaditaha. Enasa mukto nartar samsham. That is the sandhi. That is the sandhyopasana yoga. Not the other sandhya. So he is not saying not the other. But you don't get to do the other because the kartritham is taken away from you. Sarvatra praninam dehe japo bhavati sarvada. What is the japam you do? There is an incessant japam, non-stop japam going on Hamsasoham iti jnatva sarvabandhe niruchyate. As you keep following that, you don't do, you don't chant, you just observe this Hamsasoham. That is the japam there. Sarvabandhe niruchyate. Because once you start following that Hamsasoham, and you lose control of everything, rather everything that has been controlling you loses control on you, and you just become a Kevala Sakshi. And that's a Sakshi, Cheta, Kevalo, Nirgunascha. That's what happens when you do this. Sarvatra Pranam Dehe Japo Bhavati Sarvada Hamsasoham iti Jnatva Sarvabandhe Niruchyate. Tarpanam Swasukenaiva Svendriyanam Tatarpanam. So what is the Tarpanam you do? Here you have Adityam Tarpayami, Somam Tarpayami, Angaram, Keshav Narayana Madhava, all those Devata Tarpanam you do, Navagraha Devata Tarpanam you do. That there is no Tarpanam needed. Tarpanam means Truptikaran. That is, you please the God. Here, Swasukenaiva, Atmanyeva Santushtaha, Atmaramaha, Atmakridaha. So the Swasukenaiva, Svendriyanam Tatarpanam. The eyes need not, you don't have to go and see something to enjoy. You don't have to listen to good music to enjoy. This Atma Rama. Swasukena eva tarpanam kuryat. So you are not bound by your senses, because the senses are bound by the external objects. When the external object brings you good, when the external objects are good, or your environment is good or pleasing, your senses get pleased and you are pleased. So you are dependent on external agency for your sukha. But once you cut off this bondage, tarpanam sasukenaiva svendriyanam tatarpanam manasa mana alokya swayamatma prakashate atmani swaprakashagno chittam ekahutim shipet. So what is the homa you have to do daily? Here what you do is swaprakashagno atmani. Is the atma which is a swaprakashagni. Atmani swaprakashagno chittam ekahutim shipet. Your chittam, that is your mind, ekahuti, which is only one ahuti. That is shipet. What it means is throw your mind into the Atma and let it get burned. Let the Atma Devata take your mind. That is the ahuti you are given. So you lose your individuality, and that is the Advaita Atmanubhuti. Agnihotri is a Vijnaya. He is the real Agnihotri. Itara Namadharaka. Acharya is a bit sarcastic here. The other Agnihotris, they are Namadharaka. They just keep the name as Agnihotri. He is the real Agnihotri. Deho Devalaya, this is very popular. Deho Devalaya Proktaha. Dehi Devo Niranjanaha. Archita Sarva Bhavena. He is Architaha Pujitaha Sarva Bhavena. Katam Swanubhutya Virajate. You just enjoy your Atma. There is no question of you enjoying Atma. There is no tripity here. There is no triad here. You be what you are. Remove all the external these coverings. Swanubhutya Virajate. This Anubhavaha, Anubhuti is one more slightly refined word of Anubhava. When you say Anubhava, there is an Anubhokta. The person who enjoys, then enjoyment, and the object to enjoy, that is Anubhava. Sangeeta Anubhava, Rasa Anubhava, you have that. This Anubhuti is where the triad is taken. That's why Acharya writes about Aparoksha Anubhuti, not Aparoksha Anubhava. Aparoksha Anubhuti, where the Anubhuti, the Jnanam, and the object to enjoy is again the Jnanam. And the process is again the Jnanam. Advaita, that is Aparoksha Anubhuti. Swanubhutya Virajate. Atita Anagatam Kinchit Nasmarani Na Chintaye. Ragadvesham Vina Prantam Gunjam Yatra Shubhasham. Atitam va Anagatam va. What is gone or what is not, what is yet to come. I don't remember anything, I don't think about anything. We say, right? Be in the present. Nowadays that's very popular. Right? Ragadvesham Vina Prantam Bunjam yatra shubhashubham. Whatever that comes due to my prarabdha karma, there is no raga, there is no dvesha. Whatever comes, I just take it. And that is the bhojana. Raga dvesham vina praptam bunjam yatra shubhashubham. Dehabhyaso hi sannyasah. Naiva kashaya vasas. This dehabhyasa. This is Stula Deham, which is Karanam, which is the Avidya Karyam. Sukshma Deham, which is again Avidya Maya Karyam. Then this Karana Deham, which is Avidya. And I am Dehatitaha. So this Abhyasam, this practice, thinking about this body, the irrelevance or ephemeral nature of the body, that is Dehabhyasa. That is the true sannyasa. Naiva Kashaya Vasasa. Naham Deho Aham Atmeti Nischayo Nyasa Lakshanam. Vedanta Shravanam Guryat Mananam Cha Upapattibihi Yogena Abhyasanam Nityam Tato Darshanam Atmana. So he finishes, of course, this goes like this. Relevant to our topic for the Acharya, this is what he is saying. The sense, up to the stage where we have conviction. I don't think anybody can judge anybody else. After all, you don't need anyone's certificate to say you are Atma. Right? So there is, you can't judge anyone and nobody can judge you. It is for us to determine how fast we want to progress, how far we want to progress, and which direction we want to progress. And that is where Guru is going to help us. So till the stage where we give primary importance to the body and mundane things, the things related to the body, family, job, society, everything. Till the time we give importance to that, Acharya is extremely important, so that where we can raise ourselves above this worldly things, materialistic things, and at least have a glimpse of what this Advaita Siddhanta talks about. What is this all about? How can it be like idam sarvam vadeyamatva, like that? So that till that portion we need Acharya, and beyond that, the Sadachara, what Acharya says, that is what we should be practicing. So I think I've given a rough idea of this Sadachara Anusandhanam and the place of Acharya. So thank you, Nitinji. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Giridharji, for such a enlightening session. I think all the viewers have greatly benefited from this. It is a very important pillar, I would say, in the Advaita teaching that that needs to be emphasized. How from external acharam to the internal acharam. Bahiryagya to antaryagya. So that jump is not simply a matter of choice, that you choose antaryagya as a choice. It is not about the choice, it is about your spiritual evolution. So we have to do what is relevant for where we are in that journey. So thank you for this session, Giridhara. Thank you very much. Viewers, we have many more sessions. Tomorrow morning we have the last final segment of Bhagavadpada Vaibhavam, the life and legacy of Adi Shankaracharya by Vidwan Manikandan Iyer. This will be the last segment of the 4-part lecture series. Do join us at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. With this, we will conclude the session. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.